Anne Margaret still has her flaming red hair, her cheeky grin.
Imagine being a red-hot Hollywood star, lighting up every screen you grace, then suddenly finding yourself persona non grata on a major talk show. That's the curious case of Anne Margaret. This captivating performer, who shared the silver screen with legends like Steve McQueen, Jack Nicholson, and even the king himself, Elvis Presley, vanished from the Tonight Show stage, leaving fans bewildered. This video dives headfirst into the intriguing story behind Anne Margaret's exclusion. Was it a fiery scandal, a simmering feud, or just a colossal misunderstanding? Prepare to be enthralled as we untangle the truth behind this real-life Hollywood whodunit. Before we dissect the mystery of Anne Margaret's Tonight Show ban, let's rewind and meet the woman herself. Anne Margaret is a true Hollywood icon, captivating audiences for decades with her talent and undeniable beauty. Born in Sweden in 1941, Anne Margaret's journey to stardom began with humble roots and big dreams. Her family relocated to America when she was young, seeking better opportunities and facing hardships along the way. Despite the challenges, her parents instilled in her the values of hard work and perseverance. Even in her early years, Anne Margaret possessed a unique spark that set her apart. At New Trier High School in Illinois, she discovered her passion for singing and dancing, captivating audiences with her magnetic performances on stage. Then came her breakthrough moment, catching the attention of George Burns, a titan in the entertainment industry. Recognizing her raw talent, Burns invited her to join his tour, propelling her into the spotlight. From there, Anne Margaret became a sensation. But what truly made Anne Margaret shine wasn't just her vocal prowess or impeccable dance moves. It was her indomitable spirit. She poured her heart and soul into every performance, leaving an indelible impression on all who witnessed her magic. Hollywood was enamored with her, and she quickly ascended to become one of its brightest stars. Anne Margaret's journey is the epitome of the American dream in action. Picture this: a young Swedish-American girl, fueled by big dreams, belting out tunes in a Los Angeles nightclub. Little did she know, that very night, her talent caught the eye of none other than George Burns, a comedic legend with a keen eye for raw potential. He recognized something special in her, a spark that could ignite the silver screen, and took her under his wing to navigate the intricacies of showbiz. But it was Anne Margaret's role in Bye Bye Birdie that truly launched her into the stratosphere of stardom. As she portrayed a small-town girl thrust into the whirlwind of celebrity, her electrifying dance moves and soul-stirring vocals left audiences spellbound. Suddenly, Anne Margaret was the name on everyone's lips, captivating hearts with her fiery presence and undeniable talent. With her radiant red locks and a voice that resonated deep within, she became a shining star amidst the glitz and glamour of 1960s Hollywood. Anne Margaret's versatility knew no bounds, from sharing the stage with Elvis Presley in Viva Las Vegas to delving into more serious roles like Carnal Knowledge. But what truly distinguished her wasn't just her talent, it was her genuine personality. Amidst the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, she remained grounded, staying true to herself and radiating humility and kindness. Fans adored her not only for her on-screen performances, but also for the authentic person she was off-camera. Her journey into cinema began with a bang in 1961 when she made her silver screen debut, impressing 20th Century Fox with her undeniable talent during a screen test. Cast alongside the legendary Bette Davis in Pocket Full of Miracles, Anne Margaret's star began to rise rapidly, culminating in her receiving the esteemed Golden Globe Award for New Actress of the Year in 1962. In subsequent years, Anne Margaret continued to demonstrate her range as an actress, taking on diverse roles that showcased her depth and versatility. One such role was Emily in a remake of Rodgers and Hammerstein's musical Fair. Though initially eyeing a different character, she embraced the opportunity to portray the bad girl persona, revealing in her autobiography how these roles echoed the various facets of her own personality. Demure and reserved behind the scenes, yet exuberant and captivating when the spotlight illuminated her. But it was Anne Margaret's portrayal of Kim McAfee in Bye Bye Birdie in 1963 that truly launched her into stardom. Her depiction of the all-American teenager captured the hearts of audiences, propelling the film to massive success. Notably, Life magazine featured her on its cover for the second time, lauding her dynamic dance routines that set the theater ablaze. Beyond the realm of entertainment, her talent caught the eye of the political elite, earning her an invitation to perform at President John F. Kennedy's private birthday bash, a prestigious honor shared by the likes of Marilyn Monroe. Anne Margaret's journey to fame intersected with yet another luminary when she crossed paths with Elvis Presley on the set of Viva Las Vegas in 1964. Their on-screen chemistry was palpable, with industry observers like Phil Mink recognizing Elvis as the ideal complement to Anne Margaret's vibrant energy and magnetic charm. Together, they recorded several unforgettable duets for the film, although not all made it to the final edit. Despite initial concerns from management about Anne Margaret potentially overshadowing Elvis, their partnership turned out to be a match made in Hollywood heaven. Behind the scenes, Anne Margaret's talents extended far beyond acting. She was also a skilled dancer, a fact recognized by choreographer David Winters, who took her under his wing as a mentor. Winters' guidance not only honed Anne Margaret's skills, but also influenced both her and Elvis's performances on screen, laying the foundation for a successful collaboration. Anne Margaret's journey from a humble screen test to becoming Hollywood royalty stands as a testament to her remarkable talent and unwavering determination. With each role she took on, she brought a unique depth and authenticity, captivating audiences with her innate charm and undeniable charisma, whether she was portraying the girl next door or a sultry seductress. Anne Margaret's presence on screen always exuded a magnetic allure that drew viewers in. Transitioning from the silver screen to the music world, Anne Margaret's impact transcends her status as a renowned movie star. She's also an exceptional singer whose music has resonated with audiences for decades. Like a musical magician, she weaves her voice into melodies that linger long after the song ends, leaving an indelible mark on listeners. Let's delve into why Anne Margaret's musical prowess is such a significant phenomenon in the world of music. During the 1960s and 1970s, Anne Margaret was churning out albums like there was no tomorrow. Her debut album, And Here She Is, Anne Margaret, hit the shelves in 1961, and it was an instant hit. It felt as though she was introducing herself to the world through her voice, and audiences couldn't get enough. What set her apart was her versatility. She dabbled in jazz, pop, and everything in between, taking listeners on a musical journey with each album. When Anne Margaret sang, it wasn't just about hitting the right notes. She poured her heart and soul into every lyric, evoking emotions that resonated deeply with her audience. Whether she was belting out a lively tune that made you want to hit the dance floor or crooning a soulful melody that tugged at your heartstrings, she had a knack for commanding attention and stirring emotions. Anne Margaret was never one to shy away from collaboration, often teaming up with music icons like Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, Bobby Darin, and Dean Martin. Together, they crafted musical masterpieces that continue to stand the test of time. It was a gathering of music legends, and Anne Margaret fit right in, proving that she was more than capable of holding her own among the industry's best and brightest. Anne Margaret wasn't just creating music for the sake of it, she was churning out chart-topping hits. Tracks like I Just Don't Understand It, Do Me So Good, and What Am I Supposed to Do quickly became fan favorites, earning her acclaim from both audiences and critics alike. Her voice had an enchanting quality, captivating anyone who listened. It's no wonder her music became such a sensation. But then, Imagine this scene. Ann-Margret, the radiant actress and singer, was in the midst of dazzling an audience with her performance in 1972 when disaster struck. She was suspended high above the stage in Lake Tahoe when a horrifying accident unfolded. The platform malfunctioned, sending her plummeting a staggering 22 feet to the ground below. The impact was devastating, resulting in a fractured cheekbone and jaw, a severe concussion, and a myriad of other injuries. The news of Ann-Margret's accident spread rapidly, leaving fans worldwide in a state of shock and disbelief. But Ann-Margret wasn't one to be defined by setbacks. Not a chance. Despite the excruciating pain and the daunting path to recovery that lay ahead, she demonstrated her resilience and determination to the world. Her journey back to health was anything but easy. It involved enduring numerous surgeries and grueling rehabilitation sessions. Yet with the unwavering love and support of her family and friends, Ann-Margret fought her way back from the brink. She refused to let the accident dictate the course of her life, and she returned with a vengeance. Ann-Margret's triumphant comeback to the spotlight showcased her strength and resilience, proving that she was more resilient than ever. Once again, her captivating performances captured the hearts of audiences, solidifying her position as an enduring legend of Hollywood. During the filming of Who's Tommy, Ann-Margret encountered another unfortunate incident, resulting in her sustaining injuries requiring 27 stitches. Reflecting on the mishap in an interview, she recounted the scene involving Bubbles, where an unforeseen collision with a forgotten glass in the TV set led to the accident. Despite the ordeal, she expressed her enduring love for the film, even amidst the trauma of the experience. In the midst of personal tragedy, Ann-Margret's resilience shone brightly. Her journey, marked by the loss of her parents, stands as a testament not only to her talent but also to her remarkable courage in the face of adversity. The passing of her father, Gustav, in 1965 brought unimaginable pain, yet fate continued to test her resolve. In 1973, Ann-Margret faced another heart-wrenching blow with the passing of her beloved mother, Anna. Losing both parents within such a brief time frame left her grappling with profound grief. It's difficult to fathom the weight of losing the two people who mean the world to you, but for Ann-Margret, it was an immense burden to bear. Rather than succumbing to despair, she made a conscious decision to honor her parents' memory by channeling her anguish into her craft, performing. Despite the tears shed behind the scenes, Ann-Margret's talent continued to radiate on stage and screen. Her performances transcended mere acts. They became a conduit for expressing the inner turmoil she endured, a form of therapy amid the darkness. Through her work, she discovered solace, a glimmer of light amidst her darkest days. Ann-Margret's resilience is truly extraordinary. Despite the tempests raging within her heart, she stood resolute, refusing to let tragedy define her. Instead, she transformed her pain into power and her sorrow into strength. Her unwavering determination to persevere, to continue pursuing her dreams, stands as a testament to the remarkable person she is. You know, there's more to Ann-Margret's story than just her talent. There's a whole lot of buzz and speculation swirling around her personal life, particularly when it comes to her romantic entanglements. One of the earliest rumors revolved around her relationship with none other than Elvis Presley, the legendary singer. While the public might be well-versed in the romantic saga of Elvis and Priscilla Presley, the intricacies of Elvis's relationship with Ann-Margret remain relatively obscure. This lack of detail is partly due to Ann-Margret's reluctance to delve into their connection. When confronted with questions about Albert Goldman's controversial biography of Elvis in the 80s, Ann-Margret adamantly refused to engage, expressing her disdain for the book to Roger Ebert, stating, "I absolutely refuse to discuss the subject. I find that book disgusting." Goldman's biography, known for its scathing critique of Presley, dissected everything from his singing abilities to his personal affairs. Their romance blossomed over the course of a year, sparked on the set of Viva Las Vegas. Reflecting on their time together, Ann-Margret candidly shared in her autobiography, My Story, "We both felt a current, electricity that went through us. It would become a force we couldn't control." Though their relationship didn't endure, Presley was entangled with Priscilla at the time, prompting Ann-Margret to hint at ending things. The embers of their connection never fully faded. Presley continued to send flowers to Ann-Margret until his passing in 1977. Ann-Margret paid her respects at his funeral, and even years after his demise, she visited his father, Vernon. Reflecting on the profound impact of Elvis's passing, Ann-Margret penned in her 1994 memoir, "I will never recover from Elvis's death. He is a part of me. It's rare to have such a friend as Elvis, rare to have such a soulmate." Then came a flurry of speculations, suggesting Ann-Margret's involvement with other notable figures like Frank Sinatra and Jack Nicholson. It's almost as if every time she's spotted with someone, the rumor mill kicks into high gear. But here's the deal. Celebrities like Ann-Margret often find their personal lives under intense scrutiny, with gossip magazines and tabloids eagerly dissecting every detail in search of sensational stories to sell. After parting ways with Elvis Presley, Ann-Margret found love again in fellow actor Roger Smith, tying the knot in 1967 when she was 26 and he was 34. While Smith may not have reached the same level of fame as Ann-Margret, starring in the TV series 77 Sunset Strip, he wholeheartedly embraced managing her burgeoning career. Their love was palpable, as Ann-Margret shared with the New York Times, "The man that I married is the man I knew I was going to marry on the third date." Ann-Margret took on the role of stepmother to her husband Roger Smith's 3 children. Smith, an actor who later became her manager, shared a marital bond with Ann-Margret that lasted an impressive 50 years, from May 8, 1967, until his passing on June 4, 2017. Despite the constant buzz surrounding her personal life, Ann-Margret has always maintained a discreet stance. Instead of engaging with the rumors, she remains focused on her career and her loyal fan base. It's truly remarkable how she navigates through all the gossip with such poise and dignity. Their journey hit a rough patch in the 80s when Smith received a diagnosis of myasthenia gravis, a condition affecting nerve impulses that severely affected his mobility. Ann-Margret threw herself into her role as his caregiver. Reflecting on this transformative period in her memoir, My Story, she expressed, "Slowly, I became a different woman inside. The dependent, shy Ann-Margret slipped away by necessity, and a confident and competent woman came in her place. I could not only sing, act, and dance, but buy stocks and bonds, hire a plumber, and make business decisions about my career. For many women, all this is a given, but for me, it was a quiet triumph." Despite these trying times, Ann-Margret never left Roger's side. She became his primary caregiver, demonstrating immense strength and courage in the face of adversity. Their bond, already strong from years of shared experiences, grew even deeper as they confronted Roger's illness together. Their love acted as a guiding light, helping them through the darkest times. Ann-Margret didn't just care for Roger at home, she also ensured he received the best medical attention possible. Even though she had her own career and personal struggles, her husband's well-being was always her top priority. They valued their privacy and chose not to discuss Roger's illness publicly. Anyone could see the love and dedication Ann-Margret had for Roger through her actions. His illness was a tough test for their marriage, but it also highlighted the strength of their bond. Ann-Margret stood by him with unwavering support until the very end. Contrary to her status as a sex symbol, Ann-Margret is quite reserved, even describing herself to the Chicago Tribune as a prude. After marrying Roger Smith, she longed to start a family with him. However, having a biological child wasn't in the cards. Ann-Margret tried to conceive for over a decade, and underwent fertility treatments before ultimately accepting that it wasn't meant to be. In a 1985 interview with McCall's, she shared, "The point is, if I am meant to have a child, I will have one. Whatever my higher power feels is right for me, I will accept. I know this may sound simplistic, but I believe in the serenity prayer. God, grant the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." Despite the fertility treatments not working, Ann-Margret embraced her role as a loving stepmother to Smith's 3 children from a previous marriage. She humorously referred to herself as their wicked stepmother of the West in an interview, but it was clear how much she cared for them. She chose to keep details about them private, stating it was for their sake to keep them out of the limelight. Behind the fame, not many know that Ann-Margret struggled with substance abuse for years. As the 1970s progressed, she battled addiction. "The easy thing in Hollywood is to tune out, to drink and use drugs," she once told Roger Ebert. Her substance abuse was triggered by multiple factors, including her 1972 fall and her father's death. Over time, she began to drink more heavily and abuse sleeping pills. "I reached a point where my days and nights blended into one continuous foggy state of inebriation," she wrote in her autobiography. In 1980, Ann-Margret sought treatment and became sober, a decision she has steadfastly maintained. However, she acknowledged that staying in active recovery is a continual effort. In an interview with CBN's Scott Ross, she explained, "You never really overcome it, but I dealt with it. I have constantly been dealing with it. You always have to be aware of it." Despite many struggles in her life, Ann-Margret persevered through it all. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, she continued to captivate audiences with a string of memorable performances. In the film Tommy, she portrayed Nora Walker, the mother of the titular character, a role that earned her a second Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. Her haunting rendition of 21 in the film showcased her powerful vocals and garnered widespread praise from critics and fans alike. In addition to her success on the silver screen, Ann-Margret's music career soared to new heights with hit songs like "I Just Don't Understand" and "Love Rush." These hits established her as a versatile entertainer with crossover appeal. Her sultry voice and magnetic stage presence earned her a Grammy Award for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance in 1964. In later years, Ann-Margret continued to grace screens both big and small, earning Emmy Awards for her performances in television movies like The Two Mrs. Grenvilles and A Streetcar Named Desire. Ann-Margret has left an indelible mark on Hollywood with her remarkable talent, captivating presence, and pioneering spirit. Throughout her illustrious career spanning over 6 decades, she has dazzled audiences with her performances and made significant contributions to the representation and diversity in Hollywood. Born in Sweden and later immigrating to the United States, Ann-Margret shattered stereotypes and paved the way for international actors in Hollywood. Her father, Carl Olsen, moved from Sweden to the United States when she was just 1 year old, leaving her and her mother, Anna Olsen, behind due to the hazards of World War II. The family was finally reunited when Ann-Margret was 6 years old, as she and her mother moved to the U.S. to join Carl. But living in a new country wasn't without its challenges. Not only had the move uprooted her life, but she was also in a country where she didn't speak the language. The future actress was undaunted, though, telling reporters, "I just studied harder because I didn't want to seem different from anyone else. What happened because of that, I actually won a few spelling bees." Even though she learned to acclimate to her new life, Ann-Margret never lost touch with her Swedish roots, telling Wanderlust, "Of course I identify as Swedish. Of course." As one of the few Swedish actresses to achieve mainstream success in Hollywood during the 1960s, Ann-Margret challenged the industry's norms and showcased the importance of embracing diversity in entertainment. Her influence extends far beyond her on-screen roles. But that's not all. Did you know that Ann-Margret experienced ground fire in Vietnam? While she never served in the military, she found herself caught in crossfire during the Vietnam War. She performed with the USO for American troops stationed in Vietnam twice, once in 1966 and again in 1968, and considers it an important part of her career. Her first tour in Vietnam came after soldiers signed a petition asking her to come. In her autobiography, My Story, she said she regarded the trip as a moral responsibility, something I owed to the soldiers and to America. Nothing could deter me. During that tour, she visited various locations around Vietnam and often performed with the sound of gunfire in the background. On one occasion, while flying in a helicopter to a new location, fighting broke out beneath her. Despite the danger, Ann-Margret recounted feeling protected by soldiers who formed a human shield around her. "I was never scared in 1966 or 1968, she said. Ann-Margret doesn't view what she did as anything extraordinary, but as her duty. To her, the true heroes are the troops. For anybody who has been in combat, we will never know what they have seen and heard, she told the USO. All I do is sing, dance, and act. That's it. They are the ones making all the sacrifices and are incredible patriots." She was at a book signing years ago, and a guy who had been standing in line finally made it to the table with a photo for her to sign, and security told him we don't allow photo signing. Just the books. It was an old black and white photo taken in Vietnam at one of her shows, and she said, "It's okay. He's one of my guys. She was one of the few celebrities who supported us in the military in Vietnam, and she is a fantastic person." About The Tonight Show, while there's no confirmed reason why Ann-Margret wasn't invited back to The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, there are some intriguing rumors. Ann-Margret was actually a frequent guest on the show during Carson's reign, known for her dazzling performances and charismatic presence. However, speculation swirls about a potential falling out. One theory points to her relationship with singer Wayne Newton. Newton reportedly had a feud with Carson, and some believe this may have impacted Ann-Margret's future appearances. It's also possible that scheduling conflicts or a shift in booking preferences played a role. Unfortunately, the absence of an official statement leaves the reason behind Ann-Margret's banishment a lingering mystery in the halls of late-night TV. What do you think could have led to her departure from the show? Share your theories in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating insights into Hollywood's hidden stories.